Alright guys, so here's the basic idea. On these Craftsman, this lens here just pops out with a couple of tabs on the back. And then once you set that aside, you have this piece of plastic junk that sits inside. It's kind of like a tin foil with a plastic backing. And then you've got these lights here. What I'm planning to do is I'm planning to take one of these pilot lights systems that you can buy at AutoZone or almost any basic cheap auto part supply. They're about $20. And what they are, they're these independent units, and they have a bracket that comes up and over the top of them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it after cutting out for it in here and cutting out for it here. I'm going to mount a bar across the interior so that I can mount the bracket to the top of this and have them shine in through this hole. Then I'm going to polish this piece and set it back in so they'll look almost like it's stock with upgraded lights. Alright, let's get started. Hey guys, well, I know originally I said that I was going to weld a bar across on the inside, but after getting into this particular tractor and realizing where it is that the headlights actually sit up in the front, that welding a bar would actually mean coming down and then over to the front, which would start to put it in the way of future upgrades for the engine. It would fit on the engine that I have now, but I've debated putting in a 22 Kohler that I have later, and I don't want to get in the way of doing that engine mod and having to cut this all out later. So what I've decided to do is I duct tape these in place for now. I've got 2-ton epoxy drying on each side to make sure. And then on the edges I'm going to cut strips of fiberglass and place them down across the edge pieces here. And then fiberglass them in. And then from there I'll clean up the lens and put it on. Alright, so we've got our hood installed, and I'm going to go through and I'll try and point out things the best I can. Basically what we have here is on the light there's going to be one side that's going to be ground and one side that's going to be positive. So you need to wire both of your positives together, and you need to wire both of your grounds together and then bring them down through. And your ground you can just tie into your chassis, or in my case I have the winch and I tie it in here. And then your positive is going to run back across and up in behind and mount to a switch. And then from your switch you need to connect to a power source. Now I already have quite the compendium of wires already connected to my battery because of the winch and other things. So what I did was I cheated the system and I went directly to the positive side of my solenoid. Remember, one of the sides of your solenoid is always live with a 12-volt connection, and the other side is only on when you're starting. So you can connect to your always live side, and from there we've got light. So I'm going to start this up. It's currently around 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to run it out on the driveway and we'll see what kind of difference we have. Okay, so here we are ready for a pitch black test, and on we go. If you look up the left hand side, you may see a floating red dot. That's a reflector that's about 30 feet away.